founder and director of the Berkley Center for Reproductive Wellness, and I'm here today at Batsofen Fertility Services, and I'm fortunate enough to have this opportunity to interview the founder and director of Batsofen Fertility Services, Dr. Joel Batsofen. Good afternoon, Dr. Batsofen.
Good afternoon.
So, can you tell the viewers how Batsofen Fertility Services is different from other reproductive medicine clinics operating in New York City?
Well, that's a difficult question. I'll speak to our clinic. I'm not too keen to compare to others because, quite frankly, I'm not really in favor with all the things that go on at other clinics. I know what the patients tell us. Many of the patients that come to us having been treated at other centers will say to us they feel like a number over there, like in a factory and a production line. We hear that a lot. And we are a small practice where patients are treated, kind of with kid gloves in a way, carefully through every step. And for certain people that's important and they need that and they appreciate that. And it's a stark contrast to what they're used to at the larger centers. Here they always see the same doctor or the same physician assistant. There they see the doctor of the day. And it's just a slightly different approach. So they feel more secure in this environment, I think.
Great, thank you. And I've heard from many patients that you're really the best communicator they've ever interfaced with. You return emails very quickly, you return phone calls. Why do you feel this is so important to get back to patients so quickly?
I think that they have so much invested in this project. Everything depends on this project. It kind of takes over their life. And I think it's a small thing that we can do to help them along, is be responsive to their questions. They've all got questions, they're all valid questions, and the way that I've set the practice up, it's very oriented towards the internet, and in my introductory email to them, I tell them to email if they have questions. So I can't function very well if I'm backlogged 2 weeks. So if I'm answering questions from 2 weeks ago today, I don't feel secure with that, and I'm sure they don't. And so I think it's important to stay on top of it. If they've got a question today about pain or their ovulation change, it's today. If I don't get back to them at least by tomorrow, it's no longer an issue, and then we lost time, we lost the opportunity. So that's why I think it's very important.
Right, and so do they. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your background. For example, how long have you been practicing?
It's too long that I can't even remember. I went to medical school in South Africa, where I'm from, and graduated there in 1977. That almost seems like another century ago. It was in a different century. I then did my residency at Harvard Medical School in Boston and graduated there in 1983. I then did 2 fellowships in reproductive medicine, both of them at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston. One was in reproductive endocrine and infertility, and the other one was in urology, andrology. So I think that differentiates me because I work with a couple as a couple. I see both members of the couple. Talking about a heterosexual couple, it doesn't have to be heterosexual. We do a lot of same-sex couples. I'm very comfortable to work with the male partners.
Right.
After that fellowship, which ended in the middle of 1986, I went into academics for a year at Stanford in California. Then I was in in Southern California for 18 years before coming to New York in 2004. So it's been a rather interesting journey, to say the least. But I'm here in New York, and it's a very international city, and I feel like I fit right in because I was born in another country. I've lived in many different places, and
Well, I'm sure all your
I feel right in here.
I'm sure all your New York patients are glad you're here. What are your success rates currently?
That's a hard question to answer because it just so depends on the underlying problem. Which category of patients are we talking about? I could quote you success rates of over 60% in certain categories, 70% for donor reg. I could quote, down in the teens for some of the more difficult. So I can't throw out one number and say, these are our success rates. It depends on age, complexity, so many other variables, are there other problems, do they have other diseases, what's the sperm like, have they failed before, are they smokers, are they obese? Age is probably the most important factor because it impacts egg quality.
But generally you're doing very well and your patients are doing very well on the whole.
You know what? This is New York. If you don't deliver, you're not going to be around for too long. So delivering is an important concept. That you can't always deliver a baby or a pregnancy. We can deliver an honest dialogue and let them understand what the realistic opportunities are, and then they can make the decision. So people sometimes say to me, what's your success rate? And I sometimes answer 100%. Can we help 100% of the people to walk out with a baby? Absolutely not. But 100% of the time, we can help somebody to know that, or understand what their case was all about, their options, and to make good decisions for themselves. So we help them 100% of the time.
Absolutely.
But not necessarily to have a baby.
It's a great answer. So I've had the pleasure to work on many cases with you, and we've sometimes provided patients with kind of an East meets West approach. And as an acupuncturist, I find it refreshing that you embrace acupuncture. And can you talk a little bit about your feelings about acupuncture and complementary medicine in the context of reproductive disorders?
Okay, first of all, I became impressed with this early in my career. I had this patient in California on whom we did everything. We did several IUI cycles, nothing worked. We did a couple of IVF cycles, nothing worked. And then she gave up. And I never saw her for about a year or two, and she suddenly shows up in my office, 8 months pregnant. And I said, wow, what happened? How did this work? And she said, I went to an acupuncturist. I've never forgotten. And she said, he put these needles in my ankles, just above my ankle. And while these needles were in my ankles, I felt this heat radiating through my ovaries, like hot, she tells me. I'm listening. And she says, and I got pregnant the very next month by myself. And I just thought you'd be interested to know, because she remembered obviously all the things we've done. So I said, wow, that's interesting. Here's how I view this. The Chinese have been doing this for thousands of years. To say or assume that they don't know what's going on would be as arrogant as Chinese practitioners looking at Westerners saying we don't know what's going on. It's just different. So they have things to contribute, we have things to contribute, and I see it as 1 + 1 equals more than 2. And that's how I view it. So it's complementary, it's additive, nobody's got a lock hold on all this stuff, and I embrace it. Especially, you yourself are a very knowledgeable practitioner in this area. You happen to be a Western person, so your culture is Western, even though your training is Eastern. So it's easy to talk to you because I can communicate with you. And 1 + 1 is more than the sum.
Absolutely.
So that's how I see it.
Thank you. So, Dr. Bitsofan, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to interview you, and I'm certain that the viewers will find your perspective to be a new and refreshing one. And I think that your patients are lucky indeed to have you as their doctor. If you'd like more information on Bitsofan Fertility Services, you can visit their website at batsofinfertilityservices.com. That's BATZOFIN services.com. Or you can call 212-679-2289. And if you'd like more information on how acupuncture might be of help to you, you can visit berkleycenter.com, BERKLEY, center.com, or call us at 212-685-0985. Thanks so much for watching, and Godspeed on your journey to family. Thank you.
Thank you.